Hi there, very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News here on Rajya TV. I'm Tracy Shilshi and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you this morning's top stories. Let's start with the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to hold bilateral talks with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Key bullet train deal expected to be signed. Two leaders to visit Varanasi later in the day. Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari arrives in Turkmenistan on a three-day visit. He will be addressing a peace, security and development summit today. A Spanish police officer is killed and at least 7 people injured after Taliban attacked the embassy district in Kabul. Car bomb goes off near the Spanish embassy. The National Green Tribunal orders a ban on registering diesel vehicles in Delhi. Directs the centre and Delhi government not to buy new diesel vehicles. The Delhi government is now studying the order. And world leaders work overnight to strike a climate deal in Paris. India hits back at developed countries, accusing it of not yielding ground on emissions. Top story today, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who is on a three-day visit to India, will hold summit-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both the leaders are expected to sign key agreements, including a deal to build a bullet train network in India. After the talks, both leaders will leave for a short trip to Varanasi. Earlier on Friday, Abe had held talks with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Here's a report.
A warm welcome for the Japanese Prime Minister, who was received by Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha at the Palam airport. Shinzo Abe's first engagement was a brief meeting with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, who apprised him of the importance India attaches to its relationship with Japan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also welcomed Abe through Twitter, saying this visit will deepen India-Japan relations. Later, the Japanese Premier addressed the Japan-India Innovation Seminar, assuring maximum cooperation to bring about development in India.
Japan will continuously offer cooperation for the development of India, with the government and private sector working together. Japan and India share basic values, and that is why ensuring closer coordination between the two nations in every field will be critically important for Asia and the world in this century.
Abe and Modi will hold the 9th annual summit talks on Saturday. Both leaders are expected to review implementation of decisions taken over the last 1 year, particularly in trade and investment. A number of agreements are also expected to be signed, prominent among them being the 98,000 crore deal to build India's first bullet train network. After the summit-level talks, Abe will visit Modi's constituency, Varanasi, where he will see the Ganga Aarti. With Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Inputs, Rajya TV.
And meanwhile, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari arrived in Ashgabat, the capital of hydrocarbon-rich Central Asian nation Turkmenistan, on a three-day visit. Vice President Ansari was received at the airport by the governor of the Ahel province. The Vice President will address an international conference on peace, security and development today. The conference is expected to be attended by around 20 heads of state and governments to mark the 20th anniversary of the permanent neutrality of Turkmenistan. On Sunday, Mr. Ansari will participate in the groundbreaking ceremony of the ambitious four-nation gas pipeline that will start from hydrocarbon-rich Turkmenistan and crisscross through Afghanistan, Pakistan to reach India. Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan is also travelling with the Vice President to participate in this event. Pakistan's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani and Turkmenistan's President Urbangali Mohammad Madev will also be present at Mari, over 300 kilometers east of the capital Ashgabat, on this occasion. Well, joining us now, of course, to give us an idea of what to expect today in Ashgabat, we've got our correspondent Krishnanand Tripathi, who is, of course, tracking those developments there, joining us on the phone line. Krishnanand, if you could give us an idea, really, of what is it that, we'll be looking at today, some of the crucial developments.
Yeah, well, the Vice President has a very busy schedule today. Around 9:45 at the local time in the morning, he is expected to lay a wreath at the Monument of Neutrality. The monument was built in 1995 to declare Turkmenistan's independence and neutrality, that it will not be dragged into any kind of conflict with its neighboring states. And the idea was taken forward, and it was adopted by the UN General Assembly. So now this is the 20th year of this event, and the Vice President will be laying a wreath at the Monument of Neutrality. After that, there will be a family photo of the family of President of Afghanistan. After that, Vice President will address this international conference on peace and security, and he will be joined by at least 20 heads of state. Prime Minister of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Afghanistan, Prime Minister of Iran, they are participating in this important conference. And after that, there will be a lunch hosted by the host president. Back to you, Tracy.
All right. Thank you so much, Krishnanand, for joining us with those details. Like you were pointing out, it's going to be a crucial day, of course, for the Vice President. We'll be tracking those developments there with you. Meanwhile, after the successful visit of External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj to Pakistan, the foreign secretaries of the two countries will meet next month in Delhi to work out the details of the newly announced comprehensive bilateral dialogue. Pakistan Prime Minister's advisor on foreign affairs, Sartaj Aziz, while making a statement in Parliament, said that the secretaries will decide on the modalities and schedule of the comprehensive dialogue. Aziz said that all issues, including Kashmir, would be a part of the peace talks under the agreed formula for the fresh re-engagement with India. He also said that terrorism would be discussed by the two national security advisors as part of this comprehensive bilateral dialogue. But back home and on to Parliament proceedings on Friday, there was no let-up in the confrontationist attitude of the opposition Congress in Rajya Sabha. The standoff between the government and the opposition stalled proceedings for almost the entire day.
For the fourth day in a row, the Congress continued its offensive against the government in the Rajya Sabha, levelling the same charge of political vendetta. Party members marched into the well of the House. The 0 hour was stalled. Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian appealed to members to allow the House to function. The Chair then adjourned the House first till 11:30 and then till noon.
I am adjourning the House of 12:00 hours.
Amid protests, the question hour was also disrupted. Minister of Agriculture responded to a query on checking the spiralling prices of pulses.
बस हम दालों का बफर स्टॉक तैयार करिए जो तक खरीद नहीं होती और अभी 2 दिन पहले कैबिनेट ने निर्णय लिया है कि दालों की खरीद FCI, SFAC के थ्रू की जाएगी और मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स के तहत को DSC दालों का इंपोर्ट बिकेगी जिससे सस्ती दाल जनता को मुहैया कराई जा सके.
After repeated appeals to allow the question hour, the Chair adjourned the House till 2:30 p.m.
House is adjourned till 2:30.
Since Tuesday, the Congress is protesting against what it calls the government taking recourse to the politics of revenge against the entire opposition. The government, on the other hand, says the Congress is holding the Parliament to ransom, even as it claims it's ready to discuss the contentious issues. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the situation was more or less the same in Lok Sabha as well. Congress members continued their protests against the remarks made by a BJP MP on Wednesday and demanded an apology. On failing to get one, members of the Congress, also the TMC and other opposition parties walked out of the House.
Lok Sabha MPs paid homage to the martyrs of the Parliament attack as soon as the House met for the day. But soon after that, when questioned hour, Congress party raised the issue of BJP MP Virendra Singh's unparliamentary comments. During 0 hour, leader of the Congress in the House, Mallikarjun Kharge, said if Singh was unwilling to apologize, he must be suspended. TMC backed Congress on this demand.
हमारे नेताओं के खिलाफ अगर ऐसी बातें करते रहे, ऐसी गंदी बात करते रहे और अपने आप को बहुत श्रेष्ठ मानते हैं और जो कुछ वो कर रहे हैं वो बहुत अच्छा है ये कहते हैं, इसीलिए अगर आप उनको सस्पेंड कीजिए ना, वो अनकंडीशनल अपॉलॉजी पूछिए, नहीं है तो हमको कोई रास्ता नहीं. ऐसे एटीट्यूड से, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट उनको सपोर्ट कर रही है.
Let one apology be made over here. Let the house run smoothly. It is your intention, madam. I believe it that the house should run. And Mr. Khargeji, since yesterday, since 3-4 days, the matter is being discussed. House is not allowing to be run properly. We have become part of it, no doubt. But why this man is getting support from the government?
BJP MP Virendra Singh, however, stood his ground and refused to apologize. MOS Parliamentary Affairs Rajiv Pratap Rodi said to the protesting members that since Singh's remarks had been expunged, carrying on with the protest was not right.
आज हमारे माननीय सदस्य के बारे में जो बात कहा गया, आपने निर्णय लिया है, जो कुछ उन्होंने कहा आपने बाहर निकाल दिया है, लेकिन ये एक बहाना बना के सदन की कार्रवाई बाधित करना ये अनुचित है मैडम.
When their demands were not met, members of the Congress, TMC, RJD and JDU walked out of the House. The remarks by Virendra Singh came during the discussion on the drought situation in the country on Wednesday. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The Rajya Sabha referred the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 to a select committee. The 23-member committee has been instructed to present the report by the last day of the first week of the next session.
The Rajya Sabha on Friday referred the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 to the Select Committee. Minister for Personal and Public Grievances Jitendra Singh moved the motion to refer the bill to the committee.
I move the following motion that the Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013, further to amend the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988, be referred to a select committee of the Rajya Sabha.
The bill provides for stronger punishment for bribery. It will now be examined by a 23-member committee headed by BJP MP Anil Madhav Dave. The motion was adopted by voice vote. The bill was introduced in the House on 1st December. It was moved for consideration on December 3rd when members raised objections to certain clauses. Opposition members sought more clarity, claiming that the provisions of the bill overlapped with the Lokpal Act.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the motion is adopted.
The Prevention of Corruption Amendment Bill 2013 seeks to amend the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. It provides stringent punishment for both the bribe giver and taker. Among other new provisions to check the menace, it also increases the penalty to maximum of 7 years up from the 5 years at present. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha Television.
Now, as per United Nations Human Development Index, India ranks 135 among 147 nations on women empowerment. Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi disclosed the figures while replying to a question in Lok Sabha on Friday. She also said that over 80% of women in India do not receive full antenatal care, ANC, during pregnancy. Maneka Gandhi also stated that the possible reason for this includes inaccessibility, illiteracy, ignorance, non-functional facilities at their vicinity, besides myths and beliefs about IFA consumption and fear of out-of-pocket expenditure. As per the Rapid Survey of Children Report 2013-14, full antenatal care has been received by just 19.7% of pregnant women. The report, titled Women and Men in India 2015 by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, highlights the status of women, covering health, education, work and decision-making, along with social obstacles in women empowerment. With that, we'll take a quick break here, but more news follows. Stay with us.
Hello and a warm welcome to It's My Life. Let's meet Kavita Rao this time.
Rama 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 Viyalo, Ramane Sri Rama Viyalo. I am a very thorough non-vegetarian. I love chicken and keema. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G में से निकले गांधी जी. गांधी जी ने खाया गन्ना. उसमें से निकला राजेश खन्ना. Watch me on It's My Life, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
Down the ages, jewellery has been the pride of the Indian culture. In the Harappan period, it attained perfection in flattened gold bands. From the modern period came the exquisite gold brooches. Many ornaments were an extension of religious practices, like the Gauri Shankaram Rudraksh necklace worn by the temple priest. Rings with lids preserved the taweez that held secret messages and sometimes even poison.
Three, two, 1, 0.
And in scientific sectors, there are many fundamental science that can be probed only if you have very precise timing systems. USA and Canada, they already have the optical fiber links. In India, we don't have any activity at this moment. It could be that we will not be allowed to use the clocks from other continents, other countries. It's very important to develop our own clock.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Shubhadeep Dey, scientist, MPL, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back. Now, an explosion rocked Kabul on Friday when a car bomb went off in a heavily guarded area of the capital, housing many foreign embassies and government buildings. Afghan and Spanish forces are still fighting the 7 Taliban attackers believed to be hiding in the area. One Spanish officer has been killed in the attack, but Spain was quick to dismiss initial reports suggesting that the embassy was under attack.
A Taliban attack near the Spanish embassy in Kabul has further dimmed hopes of peace talks with moderates of the Islamist group. The Taliban claimed responsibility for the car bomb that tore through a foreign guest house in the embassy district, causing several casualties. At least 7 injured were rushed to the hospital. The initial explosion left 2 houses on fire.
انفجاری بوده چرا که بسیار موادش قوی بود و جای بسیار تا جبسنه شور داد.
Gunfire was reported immediately following the explosion. The area is still on alert, with Afghan security officials scouring the streets for the 7 suspected insurgents involved in the attack. All streets around the embassies have been blocked with heavy Afghan and Spanish security presence.
یک موتر کرولا دمی ساحه یک موتر انفجار کرده و تقریبا برقای ساحه را ما قطع کردیم. قطعات عملیاتی ما قطعاتی که مخصوص عملیات شبانه هستند اینا در ساحه حضور پیدا کردیم و اینا جستجو را دمی محل در خانه ها دارند.
Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy said the blast was not directed against the Spanish embassy in Afghanistan but the guest houses nearby. One Spanish police officer has also been killed in the attack. But Rajay said the embassy staff was safe and unhurt.
De hacerlo contra la embajada de España en Afganistán, así lo han reivindicado los talibanes. Era un ataque contra algunas casas de huéspedes que estaban muy próximas a la embajada. Lo que podemos decir en estos momentos es que todos podemos ser objetivo de un ataque terrorista, todos, cualquier país occidental, pero en este caso no lo era contra la embajada de España.
The blast interrupts months of relative calm in the Afghan capital. It comes days after President Ashraf Ghani returned from a regional peace conference in Islamabad, but with 2 major attacks within a week, an attack on the Kandahar airport, and now this. The possibility of reviving peace talks with the Taliban militants certainly looks bleak. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With that, let's take a look at the news and events lined up for today in the day ahead. President Pranab Mukherjee will visit West Bengal to inaugurate the 185th anniversary of the Calcutta Chamber of Commerce in Kolkata. Mukherjee will also inaugurate an exhibition of Shri Shahabuddin Ahmed organized by the Ganges Art Gallery at the ICCR in Kolkata. On day 2 of the Assam visit, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi will kick off the party's campaign for the assembly elections with a communal harmony walk in Barpeta district today. He will also interact with prominent academicians and entrepreneurs to have a first-hand reading on what the Congress needs to do. The Mediterranean Region Summit will conclude today. The three-day summit aimed at enhancing dialogue between countries in the Mediterranean region began in Rome on the 10th of December with a focus on security and refugees. The conference was hosted by the Italian Foreign Ministry and drew together Southern European and Middle Eastern leaders and foreign ministers. Now, the National Green Tribunal has directed the Delhi government to ensure that no new diesel vehicles are registered in Delhi. This drastic new measure was given after the Green Court cast doubts over the Delhi government's odd-even formula for private vehicles that they plan to roll out for 15 days beginning the 1st of January.
The Delhi government's ambitious odd-even formula for cars to counter rising pollution has found another critic. The National Green Tribunal has cast doubt in the formula, saying this move could encourage people to buy 2 cars. The NGT instead has directed the Delhi government that diesel-run vehicles will not be registered in the city with immediate effect.
किसी भी पक्ष से और किसी का कोई भी ऑब्जर्वेशन और कोई ओपिनियन आती है तो वो स्वागत योग्य है, क्योंकि उन सारे चीजों से ही एक अल्टरनेट बिल्ड होता है और उस तरफ हम लोग बढ़ेंगे धीरे-धीरे और बढ़ भी रहे हैं. दिल्ली के जो और केंद्र सरकार की गाड़ियों को, सरकारी गाड़ियों को लेकर के उस पर हम विचार करेंगे.
The NGT has also directed the centre and state governments not to buy any diesel vehicles for their departments. According to the Delhi Transport Department, around 400 new diesel-run vehicles are registered in the national capital. There are around 5.5 lakh diesel vehicles plying in the national capital. In total, 88.27 lakh vehicles are registered in Delhi.
डीजल की सारी गाड़ियां जो प्राइवेट गाड़ियां वो चल रही हैं, इवन गवर्नमेंट की गाड़ियां चल रही हैं, चाहे वो 10 साल से भी पुरानी हो, चाहे डीजल की गाड़ियां हो. मैं ये मानता हूँ ये सर्जिकल स्टेप्स उठाने की बजाय एक सकारात्मक स्टेप्स हम ये उठाएं कि हमारा जो फॉरेस्ट कवर है दिल्ली का दिल्ली NCR का, उसको बढ़ाया जाए.
The Green Court has also directed all public authorities, corporations, DDA, police and other departments to prepare and submit an action plan for phasing out diesel vehicles, particularly trucks being used by all those bodies by January 6 when the next hearing takes place.
दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट से यही बातें पूछी गई हैं कि किस प्रकार से पॉलिसी पूरी इम्प्लीमेंट होने की बात है, इसके पीछे क्या सोच है, इसके पीछे क्या प्लानिंग है, इसके साथ साथ क्या और पॉलिसीज़ है, क्योंकि अगर गाड़ियां नहीं चलेंगी तो किस प्रकार से लोग कम्यूट करेंगे, किस प्रकार से दिल्ली की जो जनता है वो अपना काम कर पाएगी.
Ever since the Delhi government proposed the odd-even formula for private vehicles for 15 days beginning January 1 next year, there have been questions raised about lack of alternatives and also issues like women's safety. Opposition parties have also been questioning the lack of proper study done before announcing the measure.
किसी को ये नहीं मालूम कि किस चीज से कितना पोल्यूशन हो रहा है, ट्रक से कितना है, गाड़ी से कितना है, स्कूटर से कितना है, टेम्पो से कितना है. नई नई गाड़ियां जो आ रही हैं वो गाड़ियां पोल्यूशन का एक सर्टिफिकेट मिलता है वो लेके आ रही हैं और वो बराबर हर 3 महीने या 6 महीने बाद उसे रिन्यू कराना पड़ता है. तो क्या वो पोल्यूशन सर्टिफिकेट गलत हैं आपके? क्या आपके मापदंड गलत हैं?
The NGT's recommendation comes close on the heels of the Supreme Court agreeing to hear a petition seeking a complete ban on diesel cars in Delhi. The case will come up for hearing on December 15. Earlier in April, the NGT had banned diesel vehicles over 10 years old in Delhi, an important step to fight the rising pollution levels in the world's most polluted city. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, world powers will lead an overtime push to seal a deal on Saturday aimed at averting a catastrophic climate change as sleep-deprived envoys battled in Paris over trillion-dollar disputes blocking a deal. Meanwhile, India on Friday hit back at developed countries that have been accusing it of refusing to yield ground on emissions and funding. Here's a report.
The 195-nation conference in Paris was scheduled to wrap up on Friday evening, but weary negotiators lurched well past the deadline and braced for a third straight round of all-night talks after ministers wrestled with a myriad of disagreements. Climate Summit President Laurent Fabius says there has been never a better time to get an ambitious global climate deal, but says it is necessary for governments to compromise.
Toutes les conditions sont réunies pour obtenir
un accord universel ambitieux. Et probablement, les observateurs le reconnaissent, les conditions n'ont jamais été aussi favorables, si je puis dire.
Fabius, along with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, acknowledged that the stalemate over the differentiation question between rich and poor countries on their obligations, provision of finance for developing and vulnerable countries, and the underpinning ambition for temperature rise had to be resolved.
On ne retrouvera jamais un momentum, comme on dit, aussi favorable qu'à Paris. Mais maintenant, la responsabilité, elle appartient aux ministres, au pluriel, qui demain auront à faire leur choix.
I have been attending many difficult multilateral negotiations, but by any standard, by far, this negotiation is most complicated, most difficult, but most important for humanity.
Meeting on the sidelines of the negotiations, Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar met US Secretary of State John Kerry on Friday in the third interaction in as many days. Javadekar said the success of the Paris Agreement will depend on the spirit of accommodation and flexibility shown by developed countries. Climate activists also stepped up their protests to get negotiators to agree a powerful accord.
This red line action was about telling governments that they are crossing red lines for the people and climate justice every day, and that this agreement will cross red lines as well. It's not good enough in terms of making sure that no one gets left behind.
Meanwhile, the Paris iconic Eiffel Tower was lit up on Friday night with firm messages of encouragement as global climate talks were drawn out past the set Friday deadline. Messages urged negotiators to decarbonize, keep global warming below 1.5 degrees, and said no plan B. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And there's an update from China as well on the pollution front. Let's get you that and other stories from across the world in World Wrap. Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered the Russian military to take extremely tough action against any threat to its forces in Syria. Putin ordered such targets to be destroyed immediately. He also warned against further provocations without naming Turkey directly. But Turkey and Russia are currently locked in a dispute over the downing of a Russian jet by Ankara. The late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi's son Hannibal has been freed after being briefly kidnapped by an armed group in Lebanon. In a video on Lebanese TV, the captive businessman was seen appealing for more information concerning the 1978 disappearance of the prominent Lebanese Shia cleric Musa al-Sadr. He was freed in the city of Baalbek and dispatched to Beirut. China is to receive a $300 million loan from the Asian Development Bank to help combat dangerous pollution levels in Beijing and its surrounding areas. The ADB said that the poor air quality had reached a threatening level that it was jeopardizing health and sustainable growth. The loan is intended to cut the region's coal use, among other pollution issues. And finally, some cricket news, and the ICC has announced the schedule for the next year's T20 Cricket World Cup to be played in India. The 6th edition of the tournament will kick off on the 11th of March and with the finals on the 3rd of April at the iconic Eden Gardens in Kolkata. The Indian cricket team will open its campaign against New Zealand in Nagpur on the 15th of March, followed by a marquee clash against Pakistan on the 19th of March in Dharamshala. Hosts India are pooled with Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand and the Group A winner. Defending champions Sri Lanka are alongside South Africa, West Indies, England and the Group B winner. The 27-day-long event will be played across 8 venues. That includes Bangalore, Chennai, Dharamshala, Kolkata, Mohali, Mumbai, Nagpur and New Delhi. And that's all we have for you on the Breakfast News for now. Have a good day.